Alrighty, we might make a start. So welcome along everybody to the newsletter Know How OWL. I'm Bree Yardley, of course. This has just got married over a week ago, so that still feels a bit weird to say. I'm just going to, nope, it's already recording, so that's good. All right, so just so you know what the course is about, it's about a puzzle that smarter people than me have been working on for years, and that is the puzzle of marketing. But we'll only be looking at one tiny section of the overall jigsaw, and that's going to be the interaction of 4 pieces, which is your readers, your newsletter, your welcome sequences, and your lead magnet, reader magnet, also known as bribe, cookie, carrot, and a lot of other names. We'll start off by looking at each thing individually, and it'll all kind of seem abstract and disconnected, but by the 4th session, we'll put it all together and you'll have a good understanding of then how the 4 things work together to improve your marketing, because that's all a newsletter is really. It's a marketing tool. So this course is obviously about your author newsletter, both developing your skills to produce a better quality one and also understanding your readers better. There are some course outcomes listed in the manual that came along with the course, which you can find on Moodle. By the end of the course, participants will be able to set up on either MailerLite or MailChimp an audience or subscriber list, a sign-up form, a newsletter template, and a newsletter and an onboarding sequence. You'll be able to set up on BookFunnel, a book, a campaign, and how to enter into promotion. And then the 3rd thing is you'll be able to explain who your audience is, why they should have a newsletter, how to choose appropriate newsletter content, and where to find opportunities to grow your email list. So the course is divided up into 4 parts: understanding your audience, 2nd is developing your newsletter content, 3rd is building your welcome sequence, and 4th is putting it all together. That is what to do with it all once you know how to do it. We're going to have a live session each week on Zoom, which is not going to be Monday at 8:30 p.m. It's going to be Monday at 7:30 p.m. And that way our Victorian and New South Wales Welsh people can also be part of it instead of all being zombies and ready to go to bed. And then each Thursday we will have an online discussion in the Facebook group. That'll be to answer any questions and to discuss anything that you've learned along that way. Okay, there will be homework. Each week we'll have a component where we do something on MailerLite or MailChimp, and you'll understand the next week's content much better if you've jumped in and done it, or if you already know how to do it. For the 4th session, it would be brilliant if you would have a reader magnet, but I'll explain more about that later on. So you might be asking, who's this person to think that she knows anything about this newsletter caper? Well, let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm Bree Yardley. That still feels very, very weird. I've written 13 novels, published 12 of them, unpublished 4 of them, and built my first newsletter to 3,000 subscribers in 3 months. My current newsletter is 1,200 subscribers, and I'm quite happy with that as it stands, but if I needed to increase it, I have no doubt that I could do so. I'm a qualified business coach, a trainer, and an admin and finance manager, as well as a writer. So that's me. Now, how about we go to some quick questions for you? Just type your answers into the chat. First of all, let's talk genre. What genres do you write in? So just fling your answers into the chat. Now would be good. There we go. Okay, so we've got some Hearstrong, some contempt, paranormal, rom-com, historical and contemporary. So we've got a bit of crossover. RWA's member base is quite skewed towards contemporary, so I'm surprised that there's so many historical people in here. That's cool. Let's ask another question. Are you published? And by that, I mean self-published or traditionally published or published in another genre or published in an anthology. Congratulations, Vicky. It's a big achievement. Alrighty. One next question. So do you have a newsletter? And if so, how many subscribers do you have? Oh, and which platform do you use? Okay, that's cool. I've heard about SendFox, Kathleen. I haven't used it. There was some discussion about it. I can't quite remember, but I have heard that it is good and upcoming, so well worth doing. Although this course will be MailerLite and MailChimp. Sounds like a fair investment. All right, last question then. What do you hope to get out of the course? Renee, you'll find out my theories about that as we go along. Yep. Brilliant. Okay. This is good. A lot of, well, the engagement stuff we'll be covering this week and next week. So that will be good for a few of you there. All right, we'll move along. Thank you for all of those answers. That gives me a bit of a clue as to how to tailor things to you all. All right. So session 1 is about building your audience. We're going to talk about my philosophy about newsletters, which is that they have 3 lives that you have to pay attention to and work through. Also, I'm going to talk about the lies that we tell ourselves about newsletters. Then how to identify who your audience is. And then we'll hop on over to MailerLite and MailChimp and create both of those things on both of those sites. And also put the sign up form on your Facebook page if you have one. So, you know, just a few things to do today. Alrighty, so the first life of your newsletter, this is entirely my philosophy. I've developed this over some time, and this is what I believe about newsletters. Not everybody will agree with me, but you know, I'm pretty switched on. So the first life of your newsletter is about getting your name out there, making sure potential readers know what genre you write in and the themes they're likely to find in your writing. And to begin with, you're looking at quantity over quality, which is non-organic subscribers. We'll talk more about that shortly. You also want to build engagement with the audience that you build. And that would be by responding to everyone who talks to you for the moment. The third thing that your first life of your newsletter can do is to help you find your ARC team, your advanced reader team. That is the team of people who will read and review your books. But really, the main thing that your newsletter's first life is for is to get your name out there to the greatest number of people in the shortest possible time. Feel free to put any of your questions in the chat as we're going along, and I will collect them up and answer them at the end. So the second life of your newsletter is when your newsletter has matured a bit and your focus changes to getting your books out there, building up your super fans, who are also called brand ambassadors. And those are the people who just talk about you because they like what you write. And also keeping your name top of mind with your existing readership base. And then the third life of when your newsletter, it's kind of settles back into old age and it only has one job, and that's to keep your readers informed. So your newsletter can jump backwards and forwards through those three lives, but there's going to come a time where your newsletter needs to move forward through each of those stages. So this course is going to concentrate on that first life of your newsletter, and because you've all got a relatively small reader base, it will apply to everybody here. But even if you have an older newsletter, the course would help you to refresh your content and approach and iron out any bugs in your email systems. And also to go back to basics on customer engagement and retention. You can have no novels, but what you really need is a firm date when your readers can expect something. And you're probably looking at a small audience, which we've already said. The reason for that is if you have a larger audience, you use different marketing tactics. So we're looking at basically audiences up to 5,000. And just so you know, MailerLite calls them subscribers and MailChimp calls them audience. So if I say subscribers, I'm talking about audience, and if I say audience, I'm talking about subscribers, and vice versa. So I'm going to be using those terms interchangeably. All right, so while you kind of academically understand the reason why you would have a newsletter, or you wouldn't be here, you probably have said one or more of the following things to yourself. Nobody likes receiving newsletters. Nobody wants to know about me. I'm not interesting. I'm not anybody. People only sign up to a newsletter to get a freebie. I'm better off spending my time writing. I'm better off spending my time on social media. So before we get into building your audience, let's just get those niggling questions out of the way. So the first thing, nobody likes receiving newsletters. Well, the data doesn't really bear that out.